Folks, in video number one with Benson from PRIVY, we talked about non-disclosure states, and we highlighted that Texas is one of those markets. So I thought we should do in video number two is pick a Texas market, drill into it, look like what having direct access to MLS is all about. So Benson, thank you very much for being here. What do we got?
It's funny because Texas is one of those markets that it's kind of a honey hole.
Mm,
There's a lot of really positive things about Texas. There's a lot of people moving there. There's
mhm,
nice rates of appreciation right there. People want to move there. So, when home values go up, it makes it more expensive to live there. So what happens as well is rental rates go up, right?
yeah.
So rental rates go up. You might get better cap rates or cash on cash return. And it's also a non-disclosure state, which we talked about before, which can make it difficult to analyze a property that you're considering as
Mhm.
either a fix and flip or a wholesale or a buy and hold property, because you just don't have the comps. And so we've taken the effort to go and get the direct to MLS raw data feeds in these areas. Now we're approaching 100 markets, which
Mm,
is pretty exciting. The team has just
mm.
really been pushing hard on that element of our value proposition. And so Texas is one of those states I definitely think that people should consider looking at investment properties.
Yeah, I think Texas is one of those states that interest Olivia and I, 14, 15 years ago. I will tell you the reason I didn't go to Texas is because you will get a property reset every year, which can be a challenge.
Hmm.
Insurance now is becoming a challenge, but there's a lot of, you're right, net population, good. Net migration, good. I think Austin is one of those troubled markets, right? I think it went up too high too fast, so it's suffering some pain. But maybe Houston, maybe San Antonio. In fact, in 2008, the market that was most intriguing, we actually made an offer on, I think it was five fourplexes before we didn't close, was San Antonio.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of people looking at Texas. So I thought maybe we should just poke around and see what Texas has to offer.
Yeah, for sure. Let me go ahead and show you how this works here.
Hmm.
For those of you that haven't seen the Privy platform before, this is kind of what you see when you first log in, and it shows you the coverage map of where we do have that direct to MLS data already live. It's wherever you see the blue marks on here. So it's approaching 100 markets. We do have third-party MLS in the rest of the country, as well as really high-value, accurate rental data nationwide, over 130 million data points. But when you look at Texas here, there's a lot of blue down here, right? So if we actually drill down into the Texas market, you can see here that we do have this direct to MLS. You can see it's these blue little icons here.
Mm.
This is what tells us that it's direct. And one of those markets that has quite a bit of activity is North Texas.
Okay.
And so you can see here there's a lot going on. And one of the things that we track when we're looking for deals is where is the investment activity located? And so we got a little
Yeah.
button over here, right?
Where
Where
are
you
people having success? Shocking. Follow the money. Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, that's it. There should be a book that's called just Go and Recreate the Wheel.
Yeah, don't
Nobody
do
would
that.
buy it, right?
Yeah, nobody would buy that.
Um, but
That's
it
funny.
isn't. It's the opposite. So don't recreate the wheel. Just do what other investors are already doing and emulate that, and you'll limit your failures. You can shorten your time to success. You can shorten your learning curve. All kinds of things here. But one of the things I know about people who are buying rental properties is they want a discount too,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah, we
they don't
do.
want to
We
pay
we
top
we
of the
want a great
market,
yield, baby. Come on.
right? And so many people like the Burr approach, right? You
Mhm.
buy it as a from the perspective of a fix and flipper, but you don't sell it after the renovation. You keep it as a rental property. But not all landlords want to get deep into a full
Yeah.
renovation, right?
Amen.
But
Yep.
if you can get a discount, even if it's 10 or 15%, the easiest way to get a discount on a house is if you're buying in the neighborhood where people are fix and flipping, because
Hmm.
that creates margins. And if you can
Okay.
find that home that maybe just has some deferred maintenance or maybe just needs, paint and carpet, you can put a
Uh-huh.
little bit of money into a house, increase the value significantly, increase the rental rates on that home up
Mhm.
to what a property in better condition that neighborhood would rent for. And now you're
Yeah.
getting the best of all worlds.
Yeah, I think there's even more to that, right? If you're a buy and hold landlord and you're going into a market where there's a lot of flippers, the flippers are going to go in and the kitchen and bath may be, not up to current standards. So they got to go do granite and change the flooring and all of that. if you're a landlord, assuming it's safe, secure, it might be ugly colors, but if it's functional and safe, you can actually save a bunch. I mean, I can tell you there's a lot of properties over the years that had the pink and green tiles that I didn't change until I had to sell the property. So again, there's lots of ways you can find value out there.
There really is. And by the way, those pink and green tiles are coming back in
Yeah.
popularity.
Oh no, they're ugly, man. They're ugly,
They
but they
are
are
ugly,
coming back.
but design is cyclical, right?
It's true. It's
And
true.
so a lot of that retro stuff is coming back. And even the colors. Look at this house here at the top.
You're right. That's the green, baby, right there. That's funny.
That is foam green.
Oh,
That is
I remember.
popular again on, you can see this is the exterior of the home that they renovated.
Yeah, look,
But
that
even look
that
at
is
the interior.
exactly the green color. That's so funny. That
So
is
this was like
hilarious.
a funky green before, but they bought this house back in June of last year for 350,000, and then they went in and fixed it up, and they sold it for 738,000. And
Oh
so they
my
were able to get a
goodness.
lot of value out of this house. And by the way, this was an on-market deal.
And they didn't change the footprint, so it's still a 4-2 with one level. It's not like they added something.
They
Am I
didn't.
reading that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this tells you right here, the before and after.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
amazing.
can see if they added square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms. If they added a story, we've got a filter in Privy where you can find pop tops where they
Oh,
take
okay.
it, they
Yep.
remove the roof and add another story on top of it.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Um, so it's just good to like do your local market research here, and you can see this, and you can
How many?
only see
Can you show me
before and
square feet
after
again? Sorry,
photos.
I'm just geeking out. How many square? Was this 2,000 square feet? Did I remember that?
Yeah,
So
23
2,300. Okay.
12.
So they bought it for roughly $150 a square foot. They sold it for over three. Oh, there it is. They sold it for over 300. Wow. Good for them. Okay.
Oh yeah. And like I mentioned too, this is an example of what it looks like when you're looking at the direct to MLS. You
Hmm.
can see the before and after photos, which if you're in third party, you're
No, you
looking at
got
street views.
you're not getting this. Not at all. This is why the direct MLS is so important.
Yep. And then the other thing that's beneficial about that too is that, like, let's say you wanted, and you're a real big proponent of this, Michael,
Mhm.
is like boots on the ground. So
Yes.
boots on the ground oftentimes is like who you already know. It's your
Mhm.
buddies, it's the people you went to college with, it's your family. Maybe it's somebody you met through a
Mhm.
real estate investment group. But sometimes it's just a professional, like a really hungry
Yep.
investor friendly real estate agent.
Mhm.
And oftentimes those agents are the agents that are representing flippers.
Yeah.
So right over here, you can see Crystal Gonzalez from Compass Real Estate is the agent that represented this flipper. And
Mm.
if they've earned the respect, they've earned the business of a flipper who's doing work like this,
Yeah.
then that's somebody you want to consider working with. Would you
No,
agree?
I would agree. And even more than that, one of the things you should do as an investor, especially if you're going out of your home market, is you should meet a lot of people. I mean, one of the things I would do with Privy is I would go into this, find my market, my buy box. I would try to call every agent that sold something. I would call every agent that lists something. I would tell everybody my buy box. I would meet lots of people. So I would not only not rely, I mean, I would certainly meet Crystal or talk to her, but I would go through this system with a fine tooth comb and I would get all the agents. I would get the buyer and the selling agent on all that, whatever that is, 9 listings in that box.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
like you said, you put yourself out there, and you can find a lot of people who want to help you.
Yeah.
Um, and then at that point, it's just like you're interviewing for a job position, right? You're like, tell me about
Yeah.
yourself. What have you accomplished in your career? How hungry are you? What
Well,
makes you different from the rest of the people?
I think it's even more than that. I mean, again, if you're going to go into a new market where you don't have a foothold, and that's what we're talking about here, you probably have to earn their respect first. Because I forget her name already. Crystal, I think it was.
Crystal.
Right. Crystal's going to get calls from lots of newbie real estate agents. Crystal, I want a deal. She's going to be tired of hearing that nonsense.
Yeah.
If you call up Crystal and say, Crystal, I have a buy box. It's this zip code, this property type, this. You or I don't know. It is so easy to stand out today, Benson. It is so easy to be above average. If you go in with just that talk track, Crystal's going to talk to you. She's going to follow up with you. She's going to set up a query for you. She's going to tell you, you know what? I might have a listing coming from you. Oh, you know what? Somebody in my office has a listing coming up. Folks, it is so easy to stand out today. Don't be like everybody else. Call Crystal and say, give me a deal. Call Crystal with your buy box. Show her that you've done some work. And I think you'll be amazed at that conversation.
It's so true. It takes so little effort to just
Yeah,
separate
so
yourself from what
little.
everybody else is doing.
Oh,
And
so
that's one
little.
of the cool things about Privy too, is it gives you that local market education. Like
Yeah.
if you called Crystal and you said, "Hey Crystal, listen, I'm calling you because I saw you just close that house on Wilmot Avenue
Hmm.
last week. I mean, it looks amazing. Like your client did an amazing job on that renovation. I really like the way they did the kitchen.
Hmm.
Boy, that seafoam green is coming back, isn't it? Like that color is really
What are
starting to
they
get
thinking?
popular again. Right. And so you're dropping little nuggets of
Yeah.
information to show Crystal that you've done your research.
Hmm.
And then you can do things like look at the rental data. So there's 25 rental properties in this 1 mile radius. Right. So
Let
this
me
is a
see what
hot.
35. Let's see what 3,500 is right there and almost directly in the middle. I'm curious. What's 3,500 get you today?
So
Oh
here's
my
here's a
goodness. Wow.
3,500 house,
Oh, it's a 3-2. Okay, got it.
the 3-2.
Yeah. Oh, pretty nicely. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Same neighborhood. This is right down the street. It's on the same
Yeah.
street actually as the subject property.
Yep.
But
Oh,
but
that's a nice
a house
neighborhood.
that's unrenovated won't yield this
No,
rent,
of
right?
course
So
not.
this is it's going to have to be upgraded. It's going to
This
have
is
to be
dialed
nice
in. Yeah.
design elements, like it's unique. It's got a concrete middle island.
Yep.
It's got what's this reclaimed wood on the
Yeah.
ceiling. Like they put a lot of work into this thing and it came out really nice.
Yeah. Good for them. I was just curious. 3-2.
But but,
Okay.
but then there's the opposite, right? So
Mhm.
if you're going to buy a property in this area, right, and this is 1,650 square feet. Let's look at this house here that's 2,800.
Sure.
Well, here's 29. So these are both similar square feet. This
Mhm.
one went for 29. It's only 1,539. It's been renovated, but it's not as high of a quality as the other home. And it's a duplex. It's one side
Yeah.
of a house.
Yeah.
So this local market education, you guys can make it feel like you are your own boots on the ground because you're seeing the images. You feel like you've done your research. You know what houses are renting for. In the past, you'd have to live there to be able to do that level of research and get
Oh yeah. I
confident
mean,
with numbers.
I can only, I mean, so again, I did this in 2002 for the Mayfair district in Fresno, California. And I think I had to make somewhere between 25 and 50 phone calls
Oh
before I
my,
got, kind of a rough number of what I would feel good for rents and stuff. So it's very different, very different.
absolutely. And so again, with this direct to MLS in this non-disclosure state, Texas is one of those states that's non-disclosure. If you didn't have this, you would see street views. You wouldn't see the actual prices of the homes. They might give you a range if you're lucky. And with
Yeah.
this, you can see like what kind of construction is adequate for the neighborhood, what a house that's a 3,500 per month rent yields. Like what
Yeah.
kind of quality do you need it to be to get that place? But it also gives
Yeah.
you a target, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't ever want to overbuild or underbuild for a neighborhood. But if you haven't
No.
done the comp analysis and you don't know what a $3,500 rent property looks like, and you put
Yeah.
it out there and no one's renting it, next thing you know, you got a rental listing that's been out there for
Yeah.
90 days because you didn't do your research.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of folks that I work with. They live in California or other expensive markets that are looking at the Midwest. And Privy is the answer to kind of accelerate that learning process. There's nothing like having boots on the ground and flying out there and doing your own on the ground research. But when you're early and you're trying to figure out where you want to be, I think Privy really shortcuts that learning experience. So where can people go to try it out, get a trial, or get a discount because they're part of the ORAT family?
Yeah. So if you go ahead, there's going to be a link in the show notes. Just go ahead and
Mhm.
click that link. And then you're going to put in the promo code ORAT, ORAAT. That'll help you get a discount on the Privy platform. And then if you have questions about anything, you can reach out to our team, support at teamprivy.com. They can answer any of your questions. We do have a 30-day money back guarantee, but I highly suggest that you try out Privy. And if you're serious about really separating yourself from the competition and showing your potential partners that you've done your research, that you know what you're talking about, and showing them that you actually are someone that they should work with, they want to work with, then definitely use Privy to elevate yourself, become a local market expert in a short amount of time with just very little work and very little research.
There you go. Well, Vincent, thank you very much. We will talk next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Michael.